And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another live stream with Measurable Impact. And I'm Sandeep Joshi. So, if you don't know who I am, I'm the Chief Strategist at Measurable Impact. We're a tech B2B marketing agency. And today, we're going to talk about the power of incentives, especially into the tech channels program. And we're going live from Brisbane. Some of my clients here have been very kind enough to give me their space. So it's great, isn't it? Nowadays, you can have a live stream from wherever you want, Carly.
Well, yes, you're in Brisbane. I'm clearly Melbourne still, home base. So yeah, it is really good, and I think we've all seen the efficiencies of this over time.
Yeah, yeah. And look, you guys can watch us live on X, YouTube, Facebook, and of course on LinkedIn. So we're going live on LinkedIn as we speak. If you have any questions, you would also find a chat window on LinkedIn where you guys can put your comments on, and Carly and I can do our best to probably answer to them to the best of our abilities. And without further ado, let me introduce our guest, which I haven't done yet. So it's all about the power of incentives, right? We're talking about incentives and loyalty programs and what we can do to have the right kind of behaviors that we can drive throughout the entire journey within internally or through our channel ecosystem. And Kali Nibawa joins me because she is probably doing that for what, like a couple of decades now. She's been in this with a lot of experience. She's built a few brands which also uh, have been focused on incentives and rewards and loyalties, and it's very happy to have you on this session with me, Kali. So welcome.
Thank you. Thanks, Sandeep. It's good. I love this topic, so I'm really happy to have a chat with you today. Yeah.
Fantastic. So look, we want to kick off the session by talking about, like we said, the power of incentives, right, into the channel ecosystem. So I wanted to first talk a little bit about what that really means for the channel and what a couple of key angles that we really want to keep our baselines for this session. When we talk about tech channels, there are quite a few things. So I'm just going to bring up a quick slide here. Give me a sec, making sure that it's the right one. Great. Kali, can you see the slide?
Yeah, all good.
Okay, great. So for those of you just joining us now, what I really wanted to cover off today was why incentives are really crucial at various stages of the partner journey. Before that, I want to talk a little bit about the partner journey, quick couple of minutes, and what it really means for us to leverage them at different stages. So, as we all know, as a marketer, like we do a lot of campaigns for our clients, and every customer from the first time they ever see us until they buy from us, they go through a journey, right? There's we call it a customer journey. So, similarly, for business partners who want to see if they're aligned to a particular vendor and co-sell with them, they also go through a similar journey. And as you can see on the slide, the various stages. Initial stage of the attract stage. This is the stage when we are trying to see if we can get the like-minded partners into our ecosystem, and this is where most of the recruitment happens. And once they are aligned, and if we think they are in the right partner profile, we then take them to the next stage, which then brings us to the educate and onboarding stage. And this is where a lot of enablement, certifications, sales programs happen. And in my opinion, probably one of the most crucial stages in every partner journey. A lot of times I see that most of the drop-offs will happen at this stage. But again, look, I'll cover a few things about what are the do's and don'ts in my latest slide, latest stages of the session, pretty much on this slide. And the last stage, or the second last stage, is the motivate stage. This is where the marketing and the MDF dollars and the incentives, and this is probably, Carly, you will see a lot of you guys get involved and try to motivate these guys to move from one stage to the other until they reach the final stage, which is the transact stage. This is where obviously you have the sales alignments, and you get the salespeople try to come in and help partner move across various stages, right? The reason I really wanted to emphasize on that slide is because we want to understand how can, when we talk about the power of incentives into the tech space, what does it really mean? Where are the key areas where we can boost up a few different dimensions of like incentives and investment, obviously, and how we can drive the right behaviors from various hundreds and thousands of people that get involved in this entire mix. So I don't want to go too far because I can keep talking about it for hours and hours. So, Carly, I know that you wanted to start by, by sharing a really good example. I think picture paints 1,000 words. So, if
Yeah.
you, I'll try to bring up that slide. Would you want to quickly share a story and maybe a big bang start for this?
Well, I think it's great that we talk about incentives and obviously how they work and why they work and what we should consider. But I thought we should start off with just a short example of a really, really successful program. It was run in 2022. Now, this
Hmm.
was great. It was really effective, Dell Technologies, and it incorporates, AI, gamification, leaderboards, recognition, training, regional engagement. It had so many of these really important elements that an incentive program should have. It was a submission in the incentive awards in Europe for best use of technology. And the cool thing about this is how fun and engaging it is, while achieving the goal of the product training and the knowledge gain. The brief was really to engage the sales channel. And this was across 81 countries and 1,453 companies. So, therefore, it was also multilingual and had to appeal to a range of demographics. Now, on the slide, you can kind of see a quick snippet of the AI chatbot that was used as the key engagement tool. And this is where the salespeople would interact and they would complete their quizzes, the questions, complete the knowledge gain training, and then they would move through knockout rounds. There was 18 contestants in the end that then moved on to the live Power Play game show. And of course, at the end of the game show, there is the one winner. So what I thought is let's show you a really quick snip of this video so you get the feel of how it was delivered for these end 18 contestants.
Bring the video up now.
All right, I think it's time to get into the action, starting with the semi-finals in the Authorized Partners Group. First up, we have Gabriel from Sweden versus Andrus from Lithuania. We've got Stephen, who's in Ireland.
How are you?
Marius taking on Steve. Stamatis from Greece, are you there?
Yes, Papi, hello.
And Richard from the UK.
Yeah, absolutely.
So are you ready? Let's get into it. Gabriel, well done. Yes, good for you. Oh, Andrews.
So that's just a quick snippet to show you that feel that you get. And this is what was run across all these countries. And the final contestants could obviously dial in live like we're doing and participate in this final round as well. When we go back to the slides, I really want to show the behind the scenes to show everybody what it looked like and how it was really done in real life. It was all done on a green screen, I'm sure, as you can imagine. But the delivery was just so effective as well, and the outcome super successful. I think we're coming.
Sorry, just moving the slides now.
This is our best use of technology. I love it.
Oops. I think I went one too far.
Anyway, it was run, as I said, in a studio. There's a green screen. You can see this is the presenter there live in the studio, and the difference in the feel that the contestants had of the real game show versus the actual recording. So really, really great program.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
I think like what all efforts did it take, Carly? I mean, this looks like quite a comprehensive, structured. Like, what was involved and how long did it take?
This was delivered over a number of months. Obviously, quite a decent sized team behind it. The incentive company that ran this is just phenomenal and super experienced in this space. So really cool to see this submitted in the incentive awards, and just such a great example of a creative way to create the engagement with your demographic, whoever that may be, in this
Yeah,
stage of sales channel. Yeah.
that's crazy because I hang on, let me hide the slide. My apologies. Well, like for you to engage in that many countries and that many uh, obviously organizations getting involved and trying to look through various stages of initiatives, right from, obviously you want to make sure that X number of people are registered for this whole incentive program and all that. Did you have to get buy-ins and language barriers from different countries, and how did that work?
I can't take credit for this one at all. I will say this is a case study. I do not want to imply that I did this. What I
Hey.
love about it is this company have done the job.
All right.
But also relatively well, and how they did this. They've got experience in multilingual and across a huge region to start
Mhm.
with, and that experience is so valuable. And then just working so closely with the client to ensure that the objectives were clear, the delivery mechanisms were really laid out. And
Mhm.
as you can see, such a great result.
That's awesome. So when it comes to the power of incentives, I think you also have a slide that talks about various
Yeah.
different generations, I guess. Let me see if I can bring that up quickly. Um, I'm making sure I don't upload too many things, but I have to keep re-uploading these slides. So for those of you who are dialing in, might see a few different goes back and forth, as long as it's on the right slide deck now.
So this one, once again, I'm quoting someone. So just to be clear, this is not me. I'm literally quoting one of the best CEOs globally in incentives. And I love the way they describe the power of incentives and where it comes from, like the origin story of incentives, right? And this is the way they describe it. When you're a child, or if you have children, you might use something like the star chart. Now, the reason there's two pictures, because we want to make sure any boomers or Gen X, the picture on the left with the old school stars are for us to understand, and then the latest version on the right side there. But it's more around why and what does it mean. So if we go right back to basics, an incentive program, there's something that we want someone to do. We're creating a mechanic to measure this progress, and then there's a reward at the end. Now, this is a simple version, and that's why I love this example of creating it. We do this with kids, we do this throughout our lives, we do this in relationships and business and all the rest of it. It's the same in incentives, creating a mechanism to deliver something that somebody wants, and engaging them along the journey and tracking that progress. So that's why this example always sticks in my head, and I just love the simplicity of it.
Sorry, I think I was trying to work on the slide, so I got back. So how does that? What do you see that it's actually influencing the way you're building programs now? If you looked at that Gen X and Gen Z story, how does that totally influence the way you're building programs to this day and age?
Well, realistically, and whether we're talking B2B, B2C, B2E, the key thing is understanding who we're trying to motivate, and what are we trying to achieve. I think that there's no one answer. There is literally zero way to say that's the solution for every program. It is really about understanding who we're talking to, and in so many examples we talk about this. Is there a way to ask them? It's not always easy in some programs, especially depending on how many people we're talking about. But in any factor, in any way we can, understand what do they really want? What would really be exciting for this group of people that we'd like to achieve or complete certain roles and tasks within a program?
So I mean that's quite interesting because If you look at an organization holistically, every buying center might have a different types of a personality type, if you know what I mean. If there is a sales function against a HR function, against an operations function, do you see different types of incentives work for different types of groups of people?
Yes, definitely. And it can be role based, it may be age based, it may be personality based. There's so many different ways. And I'm not saying it's easy to find this out for every group. It can be difficult, especially with larger quantities of members and sales teams, for example. But where possible, the more we can understand about what's going to be appealing. Some of these incentives may be more personal and emotional, others might be financial, and it's around what drives those people to then complete a training or attend an event, do a webinar, whatever that may be that's required within the program. What's actually going to be really exciting for them? Someone might appreciate a day off versus a financial incentive, but we will never know that without asking, or at least test and learn if possible.
Yeah, I agree. And look, over a period of time, that especially in the channel space, when we look at these kind of incentive programs, I've always believed that um, there has to be different categories of incentives lined for different categories of people. So, for example, let's say you're at a stage where, and I'll bring up this example when I talk about some of the do's and don'ts, but I can't hold myself at the moment. The, the idea behind that is when you have a group incentive that is going out, it's extremely important that you're looking at it from an organizational perspective. So let's say you're trying to onboard a new partner, and onboarding a partner is not a single man thing or a single person thing, I mean. So because you need to be able to have different aspects of people like pre-sales, sales, delivery, consultants, sales, head of sales, CEOs of the company, marketing people. They all need to be onboarded as a partner when you're trying to build. It's not a single entity. There are multiple factors, multiple people, and each one have a different motivation on what you can really sort of tickle their fancy, I guess, if you want to put it that way.
That's exactly
So
right.
yeah, and this becomes quite important because 99% of the times, all the incentives are going towards one particular category, which is mostly close the deal, sales and try to bring in the business. But all the legwork that's done generally gets neglected. But if those key individuals are motivated across the journey, it makes life so much more different. So I know that you wanted to bring up another slide. I'm trying to make sure that I don't do the same thing I just did there. Uh,
Don't cancel this out. Yeah.
this is like I wish if I could share what I'm looking at the moment. This is like a freaking captain's whole cockpit here.
This
There's
is
too many
best
things.
business technology, remember?
I know, and I proved that last week already. But hang on, let me see if I can share my slide in a different way this time. So I go directly to the slide that you wanted us to present.
Nice. Nice. Good to go. Okay.
Can you? Am I on the right one?
You are correct. Maybe make it the full
Yeah.
screen. But I'll talk to this. It's fine. I think
Is it
it's
full screen or not? Sorry.
not yet. Not yet.
Oh, all
But
right. Okay, I've made it full screen. So.
there we go.
Um,
But while you're doing that, look, there's two really important factors here. That's the earn methods and incentive types, right? And as you just mentioned earlier as well, there's different members earning these incentives, and whether it's individual or team-based. Performance in sales may be an area of earn, or goal-based, to complete certain items within a time frame. But the earn method is really important to understand. How are the team members earning, or the individuals earning the incentive? And also then what are we offering them? So if we think about the different types of things you could offer a member, it can be really important to know what's going to motivate different people, as we said. Now, cash rewards, commissions, rebates can be really exciting for some. Aspirational items might be more exciting for others. Where it's possible, and if it's possible within a program, offering choice can be a great way to start to understand what are the popular items. So where you can give some choice and obviously rotate and change incentives throughout a program, you'll start to see the popular ones and the ones that are the most effective to drive these certain behaviors. But I thought this is just a simple way to show, your earn and your incentive types can be really important. Now, I think you were going to talk to some not so great examples now as well. I think that I won't say bad,
I
I'll
get,
just say not
I
so
get
great.
the best part. I get the best.
You can do the burn. Yeah.
No, 100%. No, look, I believe that um, every time we talk about incentives, there has been a precursor in everyone's head, right? Like, what do they expect? And I'm again putting a tech channel hat here. So, different industry verticals would have obviously different things work for them. Um, there are certain things that I feel have absolutely got repercussions which are not generally that positive. And I wanted to bring up a couple of examples. And I want to refer back to this time I'll try to make a full screen and then present a slide. So,
And don't say who it is. Probably best. Don't name and shame.
no, I won't do that. I've learned my lessons that way, man. So, is it a full screen at this stage?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. There you go. I learned it how to do it. This is all a new backend system, so it's perfect. All right. So if you guys remember, we right at the beginning I showed you guys this slide, and it talks about the partner journey, right? Now, one of the key things that I feel where most of the incentive programs in the channel fail. Can you guys see my cursor moving here, or because I
Yeah.
can't see anymore? Okay, cool. So what we generally see is almost 100%, if not 100%, almost all the incentives are generally allocated toward the motivate and the transaction stage. And I'm going to give you a quick stat, and that's just totally crazy. Almost 90 to 95% of your entire channel ecosystem generally is either at a dormant inactive stage or might have a small mix of sort of opportunistic partners there. Your We call it the rule of 80/20, but in channel it's like 95/5. It's just a crazy number, because what happens is you recruit at this stage, and then you ignore at this stage. When I say ignore, it's not like you're ignoring, but you need to have really quick structured milestones here. So I know a vendor who's got more than 3,000 partners signed up into their partner program, but only about 106 or 110 to be precise are actually doing anything with them, like actively going and co-selling with the vendor. The reason, in my opinion, and the biggest challenge here is most of the incentives are lined up at the motivate, the marketing, the MDF dollars, and of course the incentive programs for salespeople to do deal reg. Now, driving behaviors on just deal reg and giving some incentives to salespeople, if they have not done the initial groundwork, becomes very counterproductive, because then you start um, seeing a pretty bad pipeline. And at the top of the head, like all the big wigs are looking at these numbers and saying, oh wow, all right, I've got like $1 billion worth of pipeline coming from the channel. And then when you actually look at how much is actually transacting from that, is a fraction of that. So that generally doesn't drive the right behavior. I'm not against MDF. Obviously, I do a lot of MDF campaigns. We just feel that we need to have we cannot ignore the first two stages of the partner journey. If you're able to have strong milestones, and again, this will link up with my next thing that I'm going to talk about, is let me stop sharing. So if you link this up to the next example that I want to talk about, which is where the MDF incentive programs come in, right? So you have, as an agency, we get people coming to us and say, Sandeep, we want to run a recruitment program to have new partners to join our team, which is great. We spend 10% of the time it would take us to drive recruitment campaigns to just look at their current ecosystem and look at how many partners we can reinvigorate into the pipeline by running incentive programs with someone like you, Kali. And then we say, right, you've got already 500 partners who are fitting exactly your partner portfolio. They're just dormant because you've ignored them for all this while. Can we run some great incentive programs for these guys to have a simple milestone approach to get their uh, team-based incentives go towards to the next whatever the flag is.
Yeah.
So it totally changes the dynamics of channel incentive programs. Like you are able to create a nurture pathway for every new partner, old partner, to again reinvigorate that relationship. So that's a lot easier to achieve than recruit new partners. You will spend way more time and way more money in
Yeah.
trying to recruit new partners than trying to reinvigorate the ones that you already have or whoever has just signed up. So something, Kali, you and I need to sit down and see what ideas can we, what ideas of like use cases can we create and go to and speak to all these vendors who have got this issue. And I can be that confident to tell you almost 100% vendors, which is almost everyone, is having this as a problem in their current channel ecosystem. That 95% of their partner ecosystem is completely dry. Which brings me to the next one, which is the MDF, which I was talking about. The problem with that incentive, and again, I'm not saying it's a problem because I really work with the MDF marketing managers, channel marketing managers, and we are trying to help them make the best way or best use of their dollars, the MDF dollars that they have. Now, again, that could come back into an incentive program with Carly, you and I, we were talking about. That could be sort of back channeled for various people to leverage. Currently, the biggest challenge with MDF we're finding is um, there is 50-50% of like investment. So you put $1 for $1 from the partner, which is great. There's a skin in the game, no issues with that. But the problem is that A, their expectations from those programs are too unrealistic. They say, right, if I'm going to spend $1 with you, then I want $40 in return. I mean, even Elon Musk doesn't give you that for Tesla shares, right? Like, it's unrealistic for a small partner to come and build your 40x pipeline for every dollar you spend, and that's one of the biggest challenges that we find. That's one. The second thing that I find biggest challenges, these are very short-sighted initiatives. What I mean by that is they're run for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and you're expecting, miracles. If you look at yourself as a consumer, as someone who um, if I'm a CTO and I wouldn't buy from anyone over the phone, firstly, or I wouldn't buy from anyone just because I had a couple of engagements with them. I
Mm,
need to have a continued relationship with that person over a period of time until I'm ready to sit down with you on a table and discuss what you're able to offer. That takes 6 to 9 months. Depends on how big is the average deal size. Selling laptops, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about
I like.
complex solutions over north of 100K. The problem is none of these guys are going to be able to convert within that span of period of that MDF dollars. So the speed, the expectations, and the time, these are some of the biggest challenges that I see in most of the MDFs. And we have actually got an answer to that. But for that, we need to have two to tango. We need to get the right kind of people in the room and then figure out a problem on how to decode this and help you guys move into the next stage. So that's definitely the thing. And without taking too much of the airtime, but the last and the most important one, this is Kali, I think I would probably bring it back to you as well. The biggest challenges that we see in the incentive program is between group versus individual investments or
Mhm.
incentives. I don't know what you see and how you see it, but if I want someone to onboard with me as a partner, I'm not going to just get the sales incentives for the salesperson. You need to have everyone involved. So maybe an answer question to you, if how would you do it? What is it that you would do to have a team-based incentive initiation if it was 100 group of partners that you're onboarding?
I think if we had, perfect world scenario and, we had carte blanche, we could deliver whatever we said and everything's on the table, let's say, is usually a combined approach is the best. So an individual that leads into a team-based, and I know this is saying here's the nirvana and utopia, but that really is the best way that people can earn individually while also contributing towards a team goal. It caters to different demographics, lifestyles, roles within a business. So simplistically, where that can be brought together, that is exactly what you want. Something that I can get myself, something that contributes to my group and my team. And I think that's always the ideal where possible. So again, understanding that's not always easily delivered.
No, and it's never easy. And I'm not saying it's easy for, yeah, you're right. Like there is a lot of method to madness that goes beyond it. And this is why building a program and having the right kind of notifications. I saw some of the things that you do, where you could have, how would we involve people in this? In fact, if you're okay, I'm going to bring that up. I really feel it's pretty cool. I just want to make sure I've got that ready. Oh my God. Hang
Let's
on.
do this. Let's be
Hey,
technical.
for the record, I'm not that technologically challenged. I don't know what's going on
I
right now.
don't think
So,
you should tell everybody now.
oh no, hang on a sec. Let it roll. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. This is one of my favorites as a registration tool. I think this is really compelling. Aside from the brand is very cool, versus an online form or an email style registration. I just love this. It's chatbot again, but very dynamic, very engaging, and super simple to use. So I think this is just a great example of making tasks where possible easy for people
Hmm.
to simply register.
So was this just to boost the engagement, for people to actually be involved into the?
Yeah, this is a registration tool. And again, it's simple but intuitive and effective. So simple in such a positive way. I think it's really, really great.
That's really good, because a lot of times we see that everyone's excited about them, but then they don't know what to do with it, and it's too complicated, and then hundreds of pages here and there, and rules and how they're going to win awards and all that, and it just gets all convoluted. So having a program that's like a platform where people all can tune in becomes, such a great deal. So
Yeah.
um, I think you wanted to cover something about habituation.
This is just something that we think about in any kind of incentive program. So it's quite broad, but it's really, really important across any type of program where incentives are a driver as well. And this is just a neurological factor that applies to every human. It applies to everyone with a brain. Anyone and everyone will become desensitized to certain stimuli when it's repeated over a certain amount of time. If we have those reminder pop-ups that you may have on your phone or your inbox, you start to ignore them if they're the same over time. So overuse eventually creates this instruction in our brain to ignore that. Now, the reason I bring that up and the reason I think it's relevant in incentives is the same thing applies. If we develop a great incentive program, we've established that this is the right thing, the earn model, the incentive type. We still need to create a roadmap of engagement. You can't just set and forget. That incentive will start to become like not an incentive and quite boring over a certain amount of time if you continue to repeat the same one. Humans are just like that, and that's just how we operate. So it
Mm.
is really about evolving and curating the incentives over the journey, not just I've loaded that, everyone's happy, and step away. It needs to be revisited throughout the journey as well.
100% agree on that one. And I can probably speak to a lot of people on those points. That's totally right. In terms of, also, we want to open it up to all of you, who are tuning in today. I know we've gone a little bit over time, but that's okay. Most important is to cover the right points and make sure that we have quality versus quantity. And um, so, in your own world, for your member base, what do you guys think is the best incentive to offer? Right? I think that's probably an open question to anyone.
Yeah.
And me and Kali are going to be on this stream for another 5 minutes. If you guys have any questions, I know there are quite a few people tuning in. I'm going to open it up to. I'm just going to tune in onto LinkedIn as we speak, because I did feel that there were some people, there were some comments made. Uh, ah, compliments flying around, Kali.
Jeremy, hey, great stuff. Well, I'll answer it really quickly if we don't have any in there, but I think it's what they want. Let's be honest. The best incentive is what is exciting to that member base and those people, right? And if it isn't, it's not. It's simple as that.
No, look, ideally, we want to. the first stage of building an incentive is for having the right stakeholders into the onto the table. It's not just one way stream, and it's definitely, I've seen over the years, incentives need to be well thought through into the right from the, like, you have to start from the end goal. What do you want to really achieve out of this, and then back solve everything. So we need to have the right key stakeholders. So whoever, if you're dialing in and if you have any questions around that, more than happy for you guys to ask me or ask Kali. I'll probably direct you guys to Kali anyway. But the 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 point is that if there are certain things that you're talking through and you want to have some very simple conversations, more than happy for you guys to reach out. This video is actually going to be available on LinkedIn forever, I'm assuming. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, well, at least till the time they take it off.
Fair enough.
But we will definitely make this available for all our audience who could and couldn't tune in, and they can share it, and we will send you guys a quick notification if yeah. So let me just have a quick look if there are any more questions.
I think we're good.
If
Well,
not,
it's been great, Sandeep. Thank you for chatting.
very impromptu style, right? So I know there are a lot of things that we can discuss on the fly. Oh, there's someone else. Hang on, Jody.
Familiar face.
So I'll throw this up to you, Kali.
Yeah, I love this. Well, obviously, I'll state the obvious. I know Jody, just in case anyone doesn't realize that. Recommendations on best incentives. How to get them? Well, again, yeah. Should we say myself? Is that where you're leading me to? Elevate loyalty. I believe that may be the lead there.
I think Jody wants you to put the website Elevate. Well, if anyone doesn't know, Elevate Loyalty, you guys can check it out. I'll put the website details on our chat as well. And yeah,
That's it. Thanks, Jody.
yeah, absolutely. Um, any last comments, Kali, before we close?
No, thank you. I think, like I said, I love that incentives are really about people, and the best way to approach them is to just think about what works for people on an everyday basis. Everyone's busy. You never speak to someone who doesn't say they're busy, right? Everyone's busy. So how do we cut through? How do we appeal to them? And how do we engage?
Absolutely.
Thanks so much.
And thank you for tuning in, and for all of those who have tuned in on LinkedIn and YouTube and X and Facebook or wherever you guys are. If you have, more than happy for you guys for us to answer any questions. And Kali, thank you so much for tuning in. And yeah, looking forward to the finished video soon.